Hello students, welcome to CBSE Science Series. Today we are going to learn about electric charge. Around 600 BC, Thales of Miletus noticed that amber attracts light objects like small pieces of leaves, light feathers, dust particles after rubbing with wool and silk cloth. In Greek, the name of the amber is electron, Elektron. This word is the origin for the electricity and electron. This is what the historical view of the electric charge, and it was also observed that when two glass rods rubbed with the wool and silk cloth, the two glass rods repel each other, and the two pieces of silk cloth repel each other, two strands of wool repel each other. But the glass rod attracts the wool and silk cloth. Similarly, when two plastic rods rubbed with the cat's fur, the two plastic rods repel each other, but the plastic rod attracts the cat's fur, and after rubbing, the plastic rod attracts the glass rod. This is what I have drawn here. The glass rod rubbed with the wool and silk cloth, and after rubbing, the glass rods repels, the two pieces of silk cloth repels, and two strands of wool repels, and the glass rod attracts the wool. What we learn from this experiment, there are two kinds of forces between the rubbed substances, that is attractive and repulsive force. Scientists studied about these attractive repulsive forces in detail. They concluded the following, means the bodies like glass rod, plastic rod, silk fur are electrified on rubbing, means they acquire an electric charge on rubbing. Due to this electric charge, they are showing the attractive repulsive forces on after rubbing. There are two kinds of charges, and these two kinds of charges are also known as the polarity. And the attractive forces due to the unlike charges, repulsive forces due to the like charges. This attractive repulsive forces are also known as the electrostatic forces. In the experiment, we studied that when the glass rod rubbed with the silk cloth, the glass rod attracts the silk cloth. It is because glass rod acquires one kind of charge and the silk cloth acquires another kind of charge. So the attractive force is due to the unlike charges. And this is not only true for the glass rod and the silk cloth, it is true for any pair of objects that are rubbed to be electrified. And the attractive force between the glass rod and the silk cloth exists only for the short period of time, not for the long period of time. It is because when the glass rod and the silk cloth brought closer, the charges on the glass rod and the silk cloth neutralized, means the electrified objects no longer attracts or repel other light objects, that is, the charge has been neutralized. Thus, the charges acquired after rubbing are lost when the charged bodies are brought in contact. What are these charges? The American scientist Benjamin Franklin named the two kinds of charges as positive and negative, and the attractive forces due to unlike charges, positive and negative, and the repulsive forces due to like charges, that is positive, positive, or negative, negative. When the glass rod attracts the silk cloth, the charge on the glass rod is positive and the charge on the silk cloth or plastic rod is negative. How these material bodies acquire charge? It is because of the transfer of electrons while rubbing. Means before rubbing, all the materials have equal numbers of protons and the electrons. So there is no attractive repulsive force before rubbing. After rubbing, there is change in the number of electrons, means the electrons are transferred from one material to the another material. Some materials contains more number of free electrons. We know that the free electrons are less tightly bound to the atoms. So in the glass rod, there are more number of free electrons. These free electrons can be removed easily on rubbing. So when the glass rod rubbed with the silk cloth, the free electrons in the glass rod transferred to the silk cloth. So there are more number of protons in the glass rod, less number of electrons in the glass rod, means there is a deficiency of electrons. So the glass rod becomes positively charged. That's why we are telling when the body loses electrons, it becomes positively charged because there are less number of electrons compared to the protons. And the silk cloth gets more number of electrons from the glass rod, means the number of electrons are more compared to the number of protons in the silk cloth. So the silk cloth becomes negatively charged. So no new charge is created when the glass rod is rubbed with the silk cloth. And the transferred electrons from the glass rod is a very small fraction of the total number of electrons in the glass rod. That's why the attractive force is only for the short period of time, not for the long period of time. So if there is no transfer of electrons, no charge on the material bodies, these material bodies are known as the electrically neutral. This is what about the electric charge. Thank you.